Our next guest is an Eagle Scout and is a recipient of numerous scouting awards, including the Silver Beaver, Silver Antelope, Silver Buffalo, Distinguished Eagle Scout, and Order of the Arrow Distinguished Service Awards. He has been involved with Boy Scouts of America for more than 39 years. He is the founder of Tico Perez Solutions, a consulting firm specializing in business, government, and marketing solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to the National Commissioner of the Boy Scouts of America, Tico Perez.
Well, good morning, and what an honor to be here. I thank you for the kind introduction, the warm reception, and most importantly, the opportunity to address this great convention this morning. I am both honored and humbled to have the opportunity to address a group of true American heroes. So first and foremost, on behalf of myself, my national board, and our almost 4 million members of the current Boy Scout family, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your continued service to America. What you have done and what you continue to do in your daily lives and through the Legion is nothing short of extraordinary. Not only the military service in your past and present, but your commitment to developing the youth of America through your youth programs, especially your partnership with the Boy Scouts of America, is superb. The American Legion is one of our longest and oldest partners, and we are very, very proud of that relationship. In fact, the American Legion charters 2,553 scouting units across America, serving 68,154 young people. Now, if you do the math, that's about 30 kids per unit, so you're not simply starting units. You have high-performing scouting units developing the scouting program all across the country. And in all humility, you couldn't have picked a better partner to join in your youth development mission. We are your first and your oldest partner. We share common values. We teach our kids that words like honor and duty and service and sacrifice and discipline are not punchlines to current jokes, but rather they are watchwords. They're watchwords upon which they can build their lives. We teach them to live by a code, a scout oath, and a scout law, and a filter through which to make the difficult decisions they have to face. You see, we teach that, you live that. You, the Legion and your members, are living examples of what and who we want our young people to become. I believe that scouting is the single most important youth movement in the history of America. We have over 100 million scouting alumni. We've awarded over 2 million Eagle Scout awards in our 105 years, and we have almost 4 million scouts and scouters active today. In fact, I want to take a quick second and see how scouting has really impacted this community. Let me just ask by a show of hands, how many of you in the room are or were involved in scouting in some point in your life? Okay, that would be everyone. How many of you are currently involved in scouting today? That is more than half of you. How many have an Eagle Scout member in your family? Hundreds. And how many of you yourselves are Eagle Scouts? It's extraordinary. It is an extraordinary relationship that we have with the Legion, and that is why our relationship is so strong. It comes down to our roots. You see, we really came on the scene at the same time, the Scouts and the Legion. We were formed in 1910, you were formed in 1919, but it was World War I that really brought us together. At that time, scouting was just getting started, but the war got scouting deeply involved in our service to America and in the American culture. West Point immediately recruited all Eagle Scouts to come and join in the 19-teens. And at the height of the war, the Boy Scouts of America had more men and boys in uniform service on behalf of this country here at home than we had overseas. We were running paper drives. We were collecting peach pits for the gas masks. We were doing bond sales well beyond the limits of expectations of our young boys. Our kids were trying to fight the war at home through victory gardens and rubber drives and whatever we could do. We moved into World War II. And at that time, we did the same thing. We had been attacked on our shores, so we populated all the military academies. Our boys enlisted and went overseas. We ran more victory gardens. We sold more war bonds. We monitored the coast for enemy planes. We've got maps and charts and grids of what every plane looks like and how to communicate. We ran messages back and forth relief centers, and we partnered with the Legion then to serve our returning veterans and those who were here defending our country. Together, the Legion and the Boy Scouts make heroes. Through my years in scouting, I've watched our young men go from the ranks of Cub Scout to Commander, from Boy Scout to Sergeant Major. Those are the mean ones, by the way. At the height of our engagements in Iraq and Afghanistan, I found myself shipping dozens of shoeboxes to young men and young women deployed all across America, young men who I've known since they were 7 and 8 years old in little blue uniforms, now leading men into battle overseas. And our young men and our young women still dominate academy enrollments across America and in all the armed forces. Frankly, our National Jamboree is a prime recruiting ground for the armed forces. At that location, the armed forces headquarters and displays are often the most popular things we do. And speaking of our National Jamboree, which just occurred, we were thrilled that National Commander Couts was the first VIP to tour our Jamboree property last month. And from what I've been told, the commander knows the place now. Evidently, we hiked him for 7, 8, 9 hours up and down hills. We even put him on our Big Zip, which is our 3/4 of a mile zip line, 152 feet high across a river that achieves speeds of 68 miles an hour. I was told he didn't even yell. Commander, that's a story, and we're sticking to that, just so you know. At our new Jamboree and High Adventure facility in West Virginia, the Boy Scouts took a bold step. We took a bold step in creating a new Jamboree site and rolling out a new 4th High Adventure base to serve our young people. Our site in West Virginia is 10,600 acres, and so far we've invested well over $300 million in our development and our program, and we have a long way to go. This Jamboree was our introduction of our new cutting-edge, hair-on-fire high adventure that we want to use to challenge our young people, to test themselves, to push themselves, to try their limits, and stay in scouting. We had over 40,000 scouts and scouters and staff participate in over 2 weeks at the Jamboree, and our kids had the time of their lives. And they experienced the best high adventure property on the face of the earth. They grew into men. We also conducted the largest service projects in the history of America. Every day at the Jamboree, a group of our units went out somewhere in West Virginia and conducted service. And over an 8-day period, we did over 1.2 million hours of service to the West Virginia state and communities. Our young people believed that that was the best part of their Jamboree. And in their after actions, many of them have said so. And although the numbers and the property and our investment in the property are interesting, and believe me, I could talk about that all day, I'm thrilled to brag that we have the second largest and best shooting sports facility in America. 1,100 shooting stations. Think about that. We have the best archery field in America. We have more zip lines than anywhere in America. We have the best outdoor climbing facility in America, the second best mountain biking trail in America, the largest skateboard park on the planet. We paved a facility the size of the deck of an aircraft carrier to use as a skateboard park to get these young people engaged and involved with us. We have the third best BMX track facilities in the country, and frankly, we're situated on the New and the Gauley rivers, which is the best white water on the planet. This new facility is a Disneyland for outdoor adventure. It is the most phenomenal facility on this planet, and yet that wasn't what was so exciting about this Jamboree. What was exciting about the Jamboree this year was the spirit that was there, the enthusiasm of our young people evidencing the strength of our continued scouting movement. It was palpable. It was palpable. If you care about scouting, and since every one of you has been involved, I know you do, you could not help but to be moved. In fact, if you'd had the opportunity, and let me ask, many of you were there, did anyone here attend the Catholic service at that Jamboree? A couple of you. Let me just share what I saw. It was pouring rain. It had been pouring rain. It was torrential. The field was muddy, and there were thousands of young people sitting out there waiting on services. We were backstage with the bishop, and we were talking about the rain, and should we call it, and should we not call it? And as we looked out, there were thousands of young folks sitting, waiting to worship. And if you looked up on the hill, what you saw were thousands more walking down in the rain, water pouring off the brims of their hats, coming out to do their duty to God. It was extraordinary. And I got to tell you, I can be a bit of a sap. Sometimes I get emotional at these things. But I truly thought to myself at that moment, you know, we're going to be okay. America is going to be okay. It's extraordinary. So between our new summit facilities and our other programmatic changes, new merit badges in robotics and simulation and sustainability, just to name a few, excuse me, the Boy Scouts are focused on continuing to develop quality programming and relevant programming to this next generation of young people. We provide cutting-edge adventure coupled with cutting-edge merit badges and programs, all built on the foundation of character. We're moving forward together, the Legion and we, to create heroes, not only on the battlefield, but also at home. Heroes in their families, heroes in our companies, and in each of our communities. By establishing relationships with our young men one-on-one, showing them the example of your lives, we change their lives and their communities. My favorite story, and each of us has one in scouting, is when I was going to an elementary school in Orlando, Florida, and I was trying to encourage my law firm to fund the scouting program at that school. We had 70 young boys in this very difficult housing project community who were involved in scouting, and we needed a little bit of money to buy uniforms and get them active and involved. I took the managing partner of the firm with me, and we went out and we were going to meet with the principal. We were going to talk about scouting and what it did and how it impacted children. We were going to talk about the increased test scores, the discipline in the classrooms, and the changes in their lives. And we didn't have to do any of that. As we were walking up to meet the principal's office, a young boy, third grader, 8 years old, came up to us, and he was in his Cub Scout uniform, purely happenstance. So we stopped to talk to him. We asked him where the principal's office was. He gave us directions, and my managing partner at the time said, "So you're a Cub Scout?" He said, "Yep." He said, "Do you enjoy Cub Scouts?" And the next words out of this young boy's mouth changed my life, and it sold the deal. He looked at this 65-year-old wealthy lawyer and said, all the other boys in the 3rd grade do drugs, but I don't because I'm a Cub Scout. It was extraordinary. We didn't have to have that meeting with the principal. That meeting was over before it began. Our boys grow to be men of character. Our boys live by a creed, the Scout Oath and the Scout Law, and when they're done with us and with you, they understand their duty to God, their duty to their country, and their duty to their families. We, the Legion and Scouting, live by a set of values. And as I look around, there are very few organizations left like us. Organizations which provide unfettered, unconditional, unlimited, and apolitical service to America. So on behalf of the Boy Scouts of America, my national board, and my 4 million members, again, I thank you. Thank you for what you do for America. Thank you for what you do for Scouting. God bless the Legion. God bless the Boy Scouts of America. And God bless America.